Hi, I'm Ala Idrisova. Welcome to Inspiration Through Inclusivity podcast, where we spotlight thinkers, leaders, and creators shaping inclusive world not through the theory, but through bold action. Today we have Claudia, who is someone who is not only leading the change, but she's architecting it globally. Claudia is a PhD candidate researching global women leadership, a serial founder, a keynote speaker, and also executive coach recognized across Europe and also globally. Through her work in the United Nations and multiple boards and her documentary movie, How Women Leaders Create the World, Claudia doesn't just ask, what if, but she shows us what's possible when leadership is visionary, inclusive, and deeply human. Thank you, Claudia, for joining us today. Welcome. And let's begin. I would like to ask, now I had this very formal introduction, but if somebody asks you, besides your LinkedIn profile, besides your CV, who you are, how do you like to answer?
Well, thank you, Ala, for inviting me. I feel really honored. And who am I? Actually, I'm used to me. And I think I'm a bit crazy, maybe. I always feel like a bit different. I'm very driven. I really like to do things. I like to do new things. I don't like to do things twice. So nobody really understands that. So, I really feel like I'm at home in being an entrepreneur, because there you can do all those strange things, because you can decide yourself what you combine and what not. So that's the place where I can be me.
But then it's crazy. It's also define crazy as that you like extraordinary things that you like to create, that you like to make an impact. And as again in your profile, what I was just reading, it was a few things, right? That mentor woman. It's something really different set of skills, as you say, serial entrepreneur, it's risk taker, right? It seems like you have very different set of skills. Is it, again, how you combining them? Is it any more dominating than other ones at this moment? Because PhD is also quite different to Freud, let's say.
It is. So indeed, PhD is bringing me, as you know.
Okay, yes, we're doing together PhD.
So, yes, indeed, and I love that. And when I try to explain to people who don't do that, I said, well, I'm now very skilled in reading a lot of boring stuff. At least boring to others, but I love it because I love the topic. And so I love that. And then indeed, I like to work with people. So I'm a coach for 18 years, and I like to be a coach, but not 100%, I can listen and be empathic, but if you need to be 40 hours a week empathic, then you become a coach on an automatic pilot or so. At least I do not enjoy that. So I find that boring. So maybe I'm too easily bored, and that is driving me to create new things. So
maybe you are very heavily talented, that's why it's that if something you do very long, then it's become routine, right? It's coming the element of surprise, maybe less appealing. But coming here, I did a quick sneak preview on LinkedIn, and you just opened your profile with the words, "Wonder is beginning of all wisdoms." And I just wanted to ask you, what's something you're currently wondering about in life, in leadership, or in the world, and why you started with this phrase?
Well, a good question, and thanks for reading my profile. So I really believe that wondering and asking the question, what if, that is really bringing me further. So somewhere in the beginning of my career, I was working for corporate companies, and there I learned to make a personal development plan, and I skipped that when I started my own company, but I kept making a one-pager every year, like an ambition plan.
Oh, wow.
And that ambition plan, it needs to be really stretching. because otherwise it's like copy paste of the year before and put like 2% plus or so on everything. That's not bringing me to a new thing. Yeah. That's more of the same, and that's what I didn't like, you know? So when I do that at the beginning of the year, I'm thinking, okay, what would be really new? What would be really stretching? Where would I really be proud of? And then try to let go of whether it's possible.
Interesting.
And that is by wondering. So what I wonder now, to answer your question, is, well, there's a lot happening in the world. There's a lot happening in the work that I do, and maybe also in the next year or the years. So I'm always wondering, okay, I do not really understand things always. And I also am worried sometimes about what's happening, of course. And I'm not that much or that long in the worry, but more about why is it happening? What is the reason? What do I or the world need to learn from that? Because I'm the strange person that believes that things happen for a reason. We need to learn something. I think things happen to learn something. So also difficult things happened in my life, and then you feel like you feel sometimes like things are unfair or too difficult to experience, or you wonder, why do I need to have this on my path? And then I think everything happens to become stronger. So then you really need to think about why it's happening, or wonder what you can learn from it. And that's what, that really drives me.
I hear, like, as you say, and today you already mentioned, if you think that I'm strange, I'm different, I think it's good, of course, realization. That's why we also are very honored to have you as a guest. And wondering or worrying or learning from this, I think that it's part of the journey. Again, I think if we look that who we are, it's just small things what's happening with us in life, our upbringing, our environment where we are growing up. And again, I think like it's important, and I like your approach to say that, I look at it and I learn from it, but I'm going forward and just putting for myself a new goals, or like keep myself wonder and maybe even put some scary goals.
Yes.
What is scary goal for this year, if you can share?
Actually, for this year, what I do is then I started with making like 3 columns. Yeah. What do I want to continue? What do I want to begin? And also, what do I want to stop? That's actually the most difficult column for me, because I like many things.
For me, all 3 will be very difficult. I need to have these lessons learned. Maybe we're going to have a...
And then I have like a business part and a private life part.
Oh, wow.
And actually that's in my office always. So I always look at it and think, it's still correct. Or sometimes I write new things or strike through things or put a question mark. So we need to make a decision or so. And that's what I do. Yeah.
So I think I need to get a few of your, as I say, maybe crazy habits also in my belt of the tools. But you mentioned that you like again, also I know you mentor people, and I can, from my whole heart, I also see that we have a lot of similarities, and maybe really, like I'm listening to you, it's I can say that I want to be you when I grown up. I don't know if that but what experiences or mentors actually helped you to shape your leadership lens, right? Like to your habits or the way you see the world.
Good question. Actually, I had a set of mentors that I go to, and I still do. So there's not like one person. So when I started to, actually really the beginning of Global Women Leadership, I was related to a former manager of mine, where I worked for within KPN Telecom. So I was really young, he was much younger. He's now 70 plus or so, and he's still my mentor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he ended up as a VP of KPN Telecom. Then he wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I was that for a few years. And he came to me to drink coffee and ask questions. And And I went with him to India, and then he really was pushing me to do my crazy thing of a global research and really traveling a lot around the world. And I didn't do that before, so I felt like this is really a too big to be true idea. And I didn't believe that I dared to do it. And he said, yes, you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. So he was really pushing me. And always believed in making me bigger or in my potential, and saw things that I didn't see myself, which is, and there are not many people who do that. And I once said, okay, you know, you have managers and leaders, so managers manage and leaders lead, which is different. Yeah. But also, you know, sometimes I try to get in contact with people that are hard to get in contact with. So I had a few very inspiring conversations with Frits Philips, and he's still alive as one of the sons of the founder of Philips. Really inspiring person. I really love that. And but also my mom. She's still one of my biggest ambassadors, maybe. Some friends. Maybe it starts with, what do you want to learn? And if you doubt about things, then, you know, sometimes I go to a person a few times, and then I have a problem, or I need a decision to make, which is sometimes difficult to do, or I want to discover why is it so difficult to make that decision, you know? And then I think I can go back to that same mentor, because I almost know what she's gonna say to me, and I need that answer. But actually I need to go to somebody else who's really gonna challenge me to find a new answer. And I don't know yet what the answer should be. So I always try to think of, is it a new mentor or a new training program or course, or what is it that would bring me a new insight? So it has actually also something to do with that wondering part.
Yeah, I also say like entrepreneurship, or, you know, be comfortable of being uncomfortable, and only when it's really uncomfortable you grow. This is as you just mentioned your example, and we come in again to the beginning of our conversation, and you've told that you're getting bored or like less interested to do the same thing over and over again.
That's it.
But yes, that's it. But I feel like you mentioned, like, there is a few things, right? Like, this person who are your manager, leader, like in your company, who inspired you or encouraged you. It's more like I see with like allyship, you know, like sponsorship. Then there is some mentors you've taught, and there is some role models, right? Like, so it's probably you need all of these people in your life, and as you progress, they changing, because you're joining, changing. You know that, and then you maybe need to have new role models and inspirations, right? But for me, for example, if I don't, if I want to find someone to be inspired or followed, where should I look? What would be your advice?
Well, my advice would be first to start with yourself. So first think of what is the really big thing that you would like to discover. And then you can find the person who is really gonna inspire you, or you know, if you're gonna get your inspiration or your desire from that person, then it might inspire you for a while. But I think if it's really, the idea is coming from you, so if you wanna be queen even more bigger than where you already are, and you're doing a great thing, then you should ask more people who are much further. So not me, but other people. And then, I think that would give you other ideas who are beyond that already.
So it's kind of asking for help, but if you don't know what you need to help with, how you can ask it, right?
Exactly.
You just need to go to the universe and say, I need this or that. But if you don't know yourself, if you didn't do groundwork, as I say, put maybe this Excel what I want, but I don't do less or more, then it's...
and the question is whether you really are gonna get the answer, or whether you are gonna discover what is making it difficult. So what is actually the layer beyond, the deeper layer, which makes it difficult?
Now I feel like you coach me now.
I'm now coaching. This is my coaching hat. So,
yes. I get now, like, we switch the heads for a second.
Sorry.
You start interviewing me.
I will just answer now anyway.
Yeah. But I'm also curious because now, back to interview.
Yeah.
That I know that you're doing your PhD about the woman, that you're writing about the woman, your movie about the woman.
Yeah.
And I assume that you have majority of your mentees are women as well. So how you make this switch? Why this, if I may say, focus on women leadership? Is it any specific moment that you start going to this direction?
Actually, yes. So I had a passion for leadership all my life because that is how I saw it was, okay, if I can learn, and I'm wondering all the time, so I'm always eager to learn more or different things. And if I can learn more, then, that is how maybe naturally my coaching thing started. So I see other people come to me or struggle, or I think I can inspire or help them to learn more on what they needed. And then I had a possibility to go to India to a business trip there, and I wanted to see not the IT thing, because most of the 6 entrepreneurs wanted to see that. I said, well, yes, I want to join, because in my ambition plan in that year was I would like to work globally or internationally again. So I did that all my life in the corporate world. And when I was 3 years entrepreneur, I missed the international part so much. So it wasn't my ambition plan. And I thought I was going to do that like in a workshop, in a conference. And I did register for that, but I was not selected. So I thought, okay, what now? So it's not working.
Plan B.
So plan B. And then that KPM man came along and he said, well, I'm thinking of organizing a business trip to India and visiting boards and whatever. And I thought, wow, that's interesting, because it's a new economy. I do not have conversations with a group of people, with boards, about how they lead their companies, and really big organizations in India these days. And I was, in that week, very inspired by the women on those boards. So some of them said, I'm leading, she called it like telepathy. So I thought, okay, so it's like a mind mapping. It's like being on the same frequency or the same level, or picking up the energy of the other. And so she was like almost complaining, like, people pick up my thinking so easily in her management team that she is missing the fresh new questions or ideas or things like that. So I thought, okay, this is really like so out of what I am in. So maybe it's culture, but I can learn from this. And I was really like, from all the conversations we had in that week with 9 organizations, I really loved the things that the women said. And so I was, there were some like mystery things happening as well. So I decided, okay, I would like to contribute to the development of new leadership in the whole world, because I think the world needs that. I don't say I'm inventing it. I would like to bring my little piece. And I was like puzzled by what that exactly is, what touched me from those women leaders. I thought, if I really want to understand that, I'm doing my conversations with them. So I would like to understand that first. And so that's how it started.
So having going to another country, experiencing another culture, seeing the different angle on.
Yes.
Question, you mentioned new leadership, right? And just let's assume that if the definition of leadership didn't exist so far, and in my research, of course, on Queen Bee and Company Be Queen, so if, let's say, we start with a empty page, and what is mean new leadership, how you define it, because I think you mentioned it a few times already. So.
it is my opinion, maybe.
Of course,
of course, it's
in your opinion, yes.
So I already learned that new leadership also can never be researched, because how do you measure old and new and so. But I believe that a world where indeed maybe more women are or equal positions or equal influence, that the world would be more peaceful. It's maybe also what I hope, but it's also what I believe. I do not remember, and I didn't research it, but I do not remember women who started wars. Women who are caring for others means that they value like education, poverty, hunger as well, maybe more important or really important. And women care for their community. You know, you have those big organizations like, I don't know if they really still exist, but like the Hunger Project, they're really based on that phenomenon. And and I believe that if we have more women, it would be the world would be different. You know, it's different at home, so it will be different on a larger scale as well.
But you mean women leaders, right? Like a woman, like, because I don't know percentage population worldwide, like...
it is 50-50 already.
Okay, good.
So the world is, let's imagine that it is like,
more women, 70 women, 30 men, or 20 men, 80 women, or 50-50 good balance, no?
Well, we have in the world, like, without the leadership positions, but we have like, let's say like 50-50, men, women, boys, girls.
Oh, you mean that it's not like streamlined then?
It's not streamlined on, you know, if the whole world would represent what it already is, then it would be different.
It doesn't depend on the hierarchy level, like if it's in all level of...
I think all levels would help. Yeah. All levels would help, but at the top of organizations, there are less positions. And the pressure and the competition, because you have less seats. It's like the game of children, you know, where the music is on and then the chair is left. How do you solve that problem? I think even men are having stress about that, you know. They most want to get higher up, or they also compete with themselves. And then women also would like to have their influence. So it's really interesting what that problem is about. Yeah. So, and it's not an easy thing to solve. So maybe we need different ways to solve that, and not how we do it now. Because actually all those goals and UN goals also on the advancement of women and girls is not going forward. It's going backwards. So in 30 years, there's a resolution, Beijing, plus 30 now. In all those 30 years, it's going backwards.
Can you elaborate what you mean about that? Like, I mean, because of course you join UN and you like...
I will try to do really sorry, but there's a lot of documentation if people like to understand better. But so one of the goals is to have equal or advance the position of women and girls, but have, let's say, like equal pay gap or equality at all. And that is like the resolution or the plan, the action plan, and that is communicated with all the member states that are member of the UN. And those member states are having the task to activate and execute that in their states. So also the Netherlands, and there it is like embedded in SER, Socio-Economic Council. They are the most important advisor for the government, and they have executed that. So when that first started, it's not like a 50% for boards or for organizations, but they started with something smaller, and I can understand that. But if you already start, and this is a critical note, so if you already start with, let's say, like 30% or maybe even 10% and only the boards and only that, then you're never going to get to 50%. Or if you manage to make that happen, then you can scale up or so, you know, like in a corporate, you need to improve, you know, first we want to have a market position for a brand or product. So I've been in a lot of marketing and sales roles before. And then if you have that, you would like to become bigger. You want to be more towards a market leader or so, whatever. You need to do other things to make that happen. So I think that, so if we really want women to have a larger position, we need to do more.
Yes, I think that there is also now, of course, we've had a bit backlash, like that last few months, but as you say, that it's not all companies follow it, right? Like still there is DI and diversity inclusion agendas, not necessarily deprioritized. But what I hear from you, it's not like, again, because your ally was also men, right? Like it's not about women against men, or like it's more about that, as you mentioned, that I'm coming back to the definition of your new leadership, but I've heard it's more this feminine trails of behavior.
Yes.
That it's more now than ever important in leadership rather than, to be dominant, be caring, or let's say negotiating or more active listening. I don't know, it's I don't know what's trust, but it's like, again, this softness and understanding this, what you can say, that we can define, but we need more, let's say, in leadership.
We need to do that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So indeed, also in the vision of my foundation about global women leadership, it is not like, the vision is not about women. It's more about the development of new leadership and to contribute to that. And I believe that new leadership is indeed what you just summarized, is a better collaboration between men and women, and to do that better and different. So that also asks some wondering skills. So how? We don't know yet how we do it. So we're not there yet. But that's okay. Yeah.
And from your opinion, what's a truth about women leadership that many still avoiding to acknowledge, maybe?
What's the truth?
Yes.
That's a good question. Would they avoid to acknowledge? Well, maybe if we make it so big, maybe we make it also special, maybe more special. But what we actually do too much maybe is communicate too much about the difficulties about women leadership. What I did in my research, the part that I do in my PhD research, I looked into what is research about women leaders, identity, and what their stories and their narratives. And then over the last 30 years, that's like everything that's researched, what I see is that there's a lot of minority published, and the almost complaining part of that women have that underdog position or not the fair position and things like that. There's a lot of emphasis on that. And that is not bad, but that is also about value to publish. If it's a positive story, then that's less interesting. But there are also positive things happening. So in the last 10 years, I saw more also, like the minority or the difficulties also bring positive developments. So it also makes women to step up or be brave, or some heroic things happening and breakthrough things. So it also makes us stronger, like in the beginning. So, so life is not easy. Nobody said that life would be fair and easy. Nobody promised us, or everyone. But it's there to learn from. So maybe we need to do other things.
Any ideas for other things? Like, again, what we're cleaning, like to the old trails, what other ones you think that how we can change the narrative?
I think that it's important to focus more on what's next, what is next? If women leaders would have the position. So I'm never interested in equality at all, to be honest. So people also ask that question quite often. And then I said, well, I've not researched men and women, so I can't compare. And I also don't want to compare. But what I really believe in is that if we discover or think more or talk more about if we have a better collaboration, whether it's 50-50 or 40-60 or whatever the numbers are, then it would be more interesting to do it if it's bringing something. So it's more like, like in business, if you know what result is you're going for, and if it's interesting, then you make that effort, But yeah, we have not that very clear yet.
But do you think this is like, if you're looking, and it's probably also very black and white, like whose responsibility it is? Like, is it your personal responsibility as a human being, because all of us may be fathers, mothers, like wives, husbands? Is it institutional, because even if it's reforms like equal pay and direction from your end or you, or it's on the company level, right? Like as leadership, you as a leader, you need to push it and streamline through your organization. Is it?
Yeah. It's 3 times yes. 3 times yes.
Everybody can.
That is too easy, yeah?
Yes.
Oh, that's too easy. But I think in the end, it starts with you.
Yeah.
So we can't blame organizations and institutions, and that is not somebody who can make a decision. So it starts, we can only influence ourselves. So if we discover what we can do together with men or with different positions, or if we have the power or what we aim for, and we just do already what we should do, if we have that, then you just can start today, And if we do it and give that as examples of a role model behavior or whatever, I don't see it like that, but just do. You don't need the position to do it. You can do things already, and you can talk about things. And sometimes, indeed, it's not what people want to hear or want to do, or you're challenging things that you're too early, But that helps.
Yep. It's almost like we come at the beginning, like you mentioned, like if you don't know what you want to, you lead yourself, then you can lead the team, or then you can lead the organization. Right?
Some organizations are slow and are followers and conservative, and there's a reason for that. So they will be always like behind. So we need people to be ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Claudia, last question. Whom you do think we need to speak next, and who inspired you, or who can inspire people around her or him, and explain why?
Yes. Well, actually, there are like many people that I would like to recommend.
Good.
And I think I'm going to name a person who is close to my heart. And that's Marlene. And we talked about a few names already. And she is a good friend for a long time. And I think she's making brave steps. And that's what I admire. And that's also what I think that more people might consider to do, So I think it would be interesting to speak with her. Yeah.
Thank you, Claudia. And I hope we can have the conversation with Marlene as well. So our podcast is launched on Friday, and the idea is that the people have weekend to reflect. Is it any last sort of wisdom or maybe a coaching question that people can think of this weekend and look up on Monday with some new wonder answers?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. So maybe think about what's next. Most people lose ambition in every part of life. So and don't need to do things that are impossible, but what's next? So what's next in what you do, or what you can do better, or who you are? How can you be a better person? How can you contribute to a better world? Small things. Or how can you love more? How can you contribute to peace? And all those things that are really needed. Yeah.
Thank you, Claudia, for sharing your voice, your vision, and your global heartbeat with us. You remind us that inclusion isn't about fitting more people into broken system, but it's about building new ones entirely, sometimes. Great that you stay with us till the end. If you enjoyed our conversations, please subscribe. And I hope that you had enough inspirations and learnings to reflect over the weekend.